Welcome to another episode of the Learn Recruiter Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Clementson. Today, I am going to give you the playbook on how we took a company from doing $140,000 a month to over $300,000 in 1 month. And it didn't take much at all. It was a framework around mindset, focus, intent, and energy. Join me. It's going to be great. Let's get into it. So, I've got to start by saying this was a group of very good recruiters, and they'd been doing it for many, many years. They had just hit a slump. I don't know what it was. Was it energy? Was it mood? Was it illness? I don't know, and I actually didn't care. The point for this month was to go, how do we get you guys firing and back on track, okay? And so we sit down, we look at it, and we look under the hood. We go, you've got good markets, you've got good clients, you've got all the resources you need, everyone's exceptional at what they do. We were just flat. So we went, well, you know what? This just needs like an absolute kick up the butt. And I think if we can build a bit of a program around that, we should start to get results. Now, we did get results. So we got the crew to over 300 grand in a month, and we filled the pipeline up for the following month. It was phenomenal. It was fantastic, right? And it wasn't hard. It really wasn't hard. It's what we do best, which is energy, big energy, focus, motivation. So I'm going to give you the playbook. I'm going to go through it now. And if you're at home, listen to this, or if you're in a team and you're a manager, take it. You know, I'm happy to come and do it with you. Reach out to me and I can go and give you the program. We can work through it. We do paid stuff for that, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to help you. I want to see you grow. I want to see you do better, because when you do better, everyone does better. Okay? Life is better when we do better. So this is how we set it up. And this might be pinching little parts from different episodes we've done if you listen to every episode. So you can see how the little pieces get pulled together. So how did we set this thing up, right? So we sat down with everyone and we said, okay, we're going to do a little bit of an exercise at the moment, and I just want you to go along. Don't overthink it. So we said, one, what is the best month you've ever done? And everyone wrote down their figures, and everyone's got big months, you know, a couple of people in the hundreds, high 80s, 70s. And we're like, now, for me, that was just saying we want to just have proof in writing of what we're capable of doing. So they look at that, and we all know there's circumstances around that, a bit of luck, whatever. But bear with me. What is your best month ever? Then we kind of went into, what are you confident you could do this month? Like if I said to you, do that this month, you're probably going to have some hesitation. But if I said to you, realistically, like all things going your way, what is the number you could do this month that you feel comfortable saying, I can do this month? So we got on to write that second number down. Fortunately for us, everyone had said a number over 50K. And our goal was to get every single biller in this business doing 50K, because that would be more than successful, right? So I was able to then say, well, look, all of you have said numbers way in excess of what we actually need from you this month. So why don't we actually make life easy for ourselves? Why don't we make life simple for ourselves? And why don't we just commit to 50 each? And everyone's like, yep, we can do that. So this is where we started it, right? Then the layer, and this is what I did an episode on not too long ago. The layer underneath that, once you go, yep, okay, we're going to go for 50 now. And we do this every single month, right? We all sit there as recruiters and we go, this is a number I'm going to do this month. And sometimes it's based in reality, sometimes it's pie in the sky, but sometimes we hit it, sometimes we don't. The purpose for this whole exercise was to make sure we all freaking hit it, right? So once we all kind of agree through logic that we can all do 50 quite easily, because every single number that everyone put down was way higher than that, we go, okay, I'm going to ask you a question now. And I need you to honestly write the answers down. And I don't need you to show anyone. If you want to share them, you can. But it was, what are your limiting beliefs around hitting that number? I really wanted to tap into all those feelings that maybe get ignored, maybe they don't say, maybe are there in the background. And I really wanted to understand, what are your limiting beliefs? Why won't you hit this figure? Dangerous path to go down if you're not going to resolve it. So they did that. They all wrote down their reasons. It was a fantastic exercise. You start to get a real insight as to where people's heads at, energy levels are at, belief systems are at. And so they probably had 2, 3, 4 things each. And then what we did is we turn those into audio file affirmations. And if you don't know what an affirmation is, it's almost like a present moment mantra or expression or or verbalizing things that might not actually be real, but making them sound as though they are in the present and they exist. And when you're doing that, it's seeping into your psyche. So, for example, the month is August. I have already hit my $50,000. It's programmed in. This is what I'm going to feel. This is how I'm going to feel. This is what, this is what's going to look like. And we took all their limiting beliefs and we flipped them to make them positive, right? Again, did an episode around that. Sent them off to a lady in New Zealand who does this amazing voiceover stuff and affirmation. She records these things for a living. Pulled them back and we said, you guys have to listen to this stuff every single day. So that became part of the pack that we were using this month as well. And then the final piece of the puzzle, in terms of just setting it up, was going, what's going to motivate you? Like we're not hitting currently our 50K everyone in 1 month. This is our issue. We want to incentivize you guys to do that, just to get the fire and ability to get you sparked up and ready to rock and roll. So we kind of went around and said, what is something that's worth about $1,000 that is going to incentivize you? So everyone had such different answers, right? Such different, but it doesn't matter. It was unique to that individual. So he said, okay, that's good. Good to know what's going to incentivize you. So we essentially, this is how we ran it. So they're all the pieces. That's the setup. So all those steps. 1, what is your best month ever? What are you confident in hitting? Dial it back. All we need is 50. What are your limiting beliefs around hitting that? Now let's go and create some affirmations around that figure. And what incentive would you like if you hit your figure? That's it. That's the setup. Okay. So the day-to-day, how do we implement this? And this is stage 2. How do we implement this successful month? First thing, right, with the incentive, we said if as an individual you hit 50K, you get your incentive. The second layer to this is if you are going to hit your target and everyone else hits their target, guess what? We will double down because fuck it. We're not making 300 grand at the moment, we're making 140. What's 10, 12 grand worth of incentive in that context, right? So we went with it. We absolutely went with it. The beauty of that layering of that incentive is that the individual can give up on themselves. But when you have to give up on your team members, it's a lot harder to do. So the logic there was no one's going to give up right until the end. And, no one's going to give up. That was the point. So the implementation of all of these tools, right? How did the month actually run? So day to day, every single day, you'd wake up, right? You would listen to your affirmation recording. They went for 5 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes, and they just seeped into your psyche. Wake up. The suggestion was do it on waking. If not, do it when the first thing in your office. No excuses, right? So you got your affirmations going. The second thing is we had the leaders as the leadership team. They would send out text messages to the group every single morning, and these messages were like, rah-rah G-up messages like, rise and shine, today's a beautiful day, let's get into it, let's fucking go, rocket ships or whatever. And every single day there was some sort of thing. Some of them were practical. It's Monday. Today is a day full of opportunity. It's the beginning of the week. We can plan for our success. We can not plan for our failure. What do you want to do? Let's go. Who needs us? Just rah-rah stuff, right? And this was just sugar hit. It was a lot of attention sugar hit. And every single text message, and here's the key, every single text message said, we're on our path for 50K each, let's go. So this number 50 was just every freaking way you saw. It was in your affirmation. It was on these texts every single morning. So daily we would get these inspirational bits out. Every time someone made a deal, an email would go out and be a tally of who's hit what. So you'd have, consultant 1 is 0 of 50, consultant 2 is 25 of 50. You get the gist. As the month went on, they filled up, and you did not want to be the one that didn't hit it. It was so public. It was so visible. I think this work from home nonsense has really eradicated the visibility of the board, the bell, all that stuff, right? That actually makes recruitment agencies great. And the last bit was just the last week. This never say die attitude. You need to know who is your champion. Who's the person that just goes, yep, it's the last week. Yep, you're on 0. But fuck you, we're going to hit it. Because in that last week, we start hearing things like, oh, that person's only meeting on Friday. That can't happen this month. Really? It can't? Why don't you call a client, ask what the process is, so that we know if it's going to happen this month or not? And if potentially it can happen this month, what do we need to do this week before that meeting happens to make sure that thing happens. So, for example, let's get references done. Let's do like a pre-interview prep to the client, a pre-interview prep to the candidate. Let's do what we need to do on the outside of this deal. Like, do we have to set this candidate to other options? Do we need to close him off to other things? What do we need to do outside? Who is that person in your office? Who's that champion for energy, right? That goes, never say die, right to the bitter end. And that was kind of it. So we had the setup, we had the day-to-day, which was really just consistently on top of people, consistently in everyone's grill, but it was a reason for it. There was a why. Everyone was on board with it. It didn't feel like management. It didn't feel like leadership. It didn't feel like pushing. It didn't feel like bullshit. There was no resistance. We were on, like, this thing was like, these guys were all in it together. It was lovely. It was beautiful, right? And it was a huge success. It was a huge success. So I'll add, this month was a standing start. There was bugger all in the pipeline. So most of the deals made were generated in the same month. We took the average month of 140 and we elevated it to over 300 in 1 month, in 4 weeks. Okay? It was the most deals were generated within the month, and it was the most deals that had been made in that year. Zero contracting, so no contracting in this scenario. It was all perm. And we've created a hugely strong pipeline for the following month. So whoever said that mindset, focus, intent, and energy doesn't net results, none of what we put in place had anything to do with the markets, technicality, training, development, podcasting, webinars, none of that shit. We know how to recruit. We know what to do. But sometimes we need a big old kick up the butt. And that's what we did. If you have a team that wants to get in on this, we are more than happy to do so. We're about to launch our website, which is this stuff where you can go and engage and say, yep, come and do that with our team. Again, not what I'm trying to do. I just want to share the love. So sit tight. If you want to DM me, go for it. Like, share, subscribe. I've just given you a playbook for a successful month. And if you don't freaking take this, if you need something like this and you don't take this and implement it the way this was done, that's on you, because I've just given you the playbook. Like, share, subscribe, helps us grow. As always, have an amazing day, and may all your deals come true.